Welcome back, guys, to episode 2 of Speaking with Saif. And on this episode, we have a fantastic guest, and we're very, very excited for her. Someone that has traveled the world, speaking at big, big events in Vegas, in Hong Kong, and other places as well. She's a motivational speaker. She's also a speaker of sales and of mindset. So I'm so happy to actually have an old friend of mine, Asra Hussain.
Welcome, Asra.
Welcome, Asra.
Hi, Asra.
Hi.
Hi, thank you,
Hi,
thank you, everyone.
Welcome.
Okay, so I just wanted to quickly get people to actually understand or know what you've gone through in your background, because I see a lot of things on YouTube. People that are getting to know you now are seeing a lot of things that they'll see on YouTube, they'll see on your Instagram, but they may not actually have an idea of where you started, what kind of background you came from. And some of us haven't been to Vegas and Hong Kong to actually hear your story as well. So tell us what you how you emerged into all of this.
Our story is pretty interesting, how you and I know each other, because we kind of come from the same background, right? So do people know that you and I used to be part of the same company?
No, they know that I was part of an online company a few years back, but what I have said to them is I walked into a hall full of 100 people, and I saw you on stage at one point. I think it was one of the first ever times I saw you was you and Helen on stage together, and I was kind of blown back by, well, it was like just a bunch of young people just on stage, and I was like, I could be like that as well one day. It's very inspiring.
Yeah, so we go quite a few years back, me and you, Saif. So from that company, I progressed within the online industry, and I focused on public speaking. So I'm a public speaker by profession. I speak on motivation and mindset, sales, a bit of business. And what I started doing is putting my work up on the internet. And only a couple of years back to 2019, I decided to tick off one of my biggest and most scariest goals, and that is to travel the world. A lot of people find it very strange why somebody would just wake up one day and say, hey, I'm going to go and travel the world. But it wasn't actually, I'm going to wake up one day. I've actually been inspired by my father. When my father was only 19 years old, he wrote a note saying, I will be back in 2 weeks. Left it on his bed and just went for 3 years. He ended up traveling the world for 3 years. Because I've always known that story, I've always thought, I want to do that one day. And I just kept on pushing the goal. 2019, I decided this is it. So I put all of my work to the side. I booked a one-way flight to Hurghada, Egypt, and just figured it out from there. I just went city to city, country to country, island to island. I ended up doing 9 countries, over 40 cities, and then boom, the pandemic hit. So we are all stuck in this lockdown together now. So that's my story so far. So let's see where the pandemic takes me.
Awesome, thank you so much. We've got a few questions that interns will actually be asking you, but I'm going to save that in a second for later. For right now, you've got an audience of interns, young people, students, people, in just like yourself, going through the pandemic, but a bit younger than us. What would be your kind of best advice for people that have probably a little more time on their hands, but also bogged down by the lockdown and the pandemic?
Okay, it's something I speak about in my videos as well. It's very, very important to have goals. This word goal, people get it completely mixed up and I feel people don't really understand what the word goal is. People tend to relate the word goal to always a career or finances. It's always something to do with your education, your career, or with money. And it's really not. It could be absolutely anything. That word goal is an acronym for go out and live. So I speak to a lot of stay-at-home mums, stay-at-home dads, and I tell them your goal could be, I need to sort out that attic and get it organized. Your goal could be, I need to get my kitchen clean. Your goal could be something regarding your children. With students as well, it could be something that you want to do at the side of your education. So it's so important to have all the tiny, tiny little goals, because every time, the way human beings are designed, every time we tick off something that we have been wanting to do, you get that little euphoric feeling within you. Right, you get a little bit of dopamine release within you. And that dopamine is so crucial in order to push you in the right direction. So it's all about the little wins. So you have a goal of, okay, instead of sleeping until 1 p.m., I'm going to wake up at 9 a.m. That is one goal, right? Oh, instead of something as simple as staying in your pajamas all day. the amount of people, and everyone on this call said it, throughout lockdown, a lot of people have just not been getting dressed, not been even going out for a walk. So it's just these little things. So number one, what I would say, Saif, is you need to have goals. When the pandemic hit, everyone's goals just went zoom down the drain, and people literally were slumming out every day. And that can have a huge effect on your mental health.
Thank you so much. That's so true. And I can't even deny it. It is a case of we just need to kind of
you're probably in the shirt wearing shorts at the bottom, aren't you? Don't lie.
Don't get me stand up. No, I'm alright right now. I'm fully dressed because with me, and it kind of leads on to my next question as well. My kind of day to day is literally I wake up in the morning, I teach, even if eventually I still have to teach sometimes. I do go back to school, and then after that, maybe 4 or 5 o'clock, I come home and then I actually start running the business, and that goes on until like 10 p.m. at night, and then I'll go to sleep and I wake up and I repeat the whole cycle as well. Which for me is, I'm quite happy with it. I'm very productive. I'm mentally, I'm in a good place with it. Some people aren't in that place, and some people are very strange to this idea of doing a 12-hour, 13-hour shift, or just going around the clock and working like that as well, because their traditional 9 to 5 is what they had in mind, what their parents had put them as well. What would you describe as your kind of most productive day, or how do you kind of plan your day to be productive?
It's interesting, Hasten, how do I plan my day? Because I literally have the planner here on my table. So I like to plan always a week. Yes, it is pink. I do like the colour pink. Okay, don't judge me. I do like to always plan the week ahead, so I plan every Sunday. So something like this, you get tons and tons of diaries, and I really believe in keeping it simple. I don't like how these diaries have got all these fancy, unnecessary things in them, and it's just very, very complicated and overwhelming for the eyes. So something like this, if you look at that, I don't know if I'm holding it up. Am I holding it up correct side? Yeah. You can see it's literally just the 7 days on here, and that's it, nothing else. It doesn't have what time is it in Hong Kong. It doesn't have what's the temperature in Timbuktu. It doesn't have all these unnecessary things that other diaries out there have. So I tend to plan a week in advance. Planning as well, it's part of, it goes back to the initial point that I made, is that when you tick off certain things, you get that dopamine feeling within you. So when I've got things written as to what I want done on Monday, when I wake up on Monday and I start ticking through all of that on the list, I start getting that euphoric feeling within me, and then that increases my productivity for the next day. So it's a little bit of a cycle. In order to increase productivity, you've got to be productive. Being more productive makes you more productive, if that makes sense.
Sure, I think that's something I'm confident seeing that as well, because where we started for a few months back, and now we're getting more and more busy because we're producing a lot more at the same time.
To make it very simple, Saif, I would just say, in order to keep your mental health in check and to have productive days, just watch Mr. Saif, and you'll know exactly what to do. Just follow this gentleman on the screen.
Thank you so much. I'm actually going to pass you over to quickly my co-director, Shaquille, for his question, and then we'll move on to the interns.
It's very nice to meet you. I'm going to try and have my camera on. Not exactly the best angle. But I had a question that can kind of help everyone, I guess. Going back to like the pandemic and how especially the youth of today are pretty much forced in a scenario where they are having to adapt to a complete change in their education, opportunities to work in the future. What is your advice on how they can stay driven and motivated as if, there was no pandemic essentially? What is the advice you give them at a young age in their life?
Shaquille, thank you for your question. Nice to meet you as well. I would say things like this, what you guys are doing here right now, this is incredibly important. So it's being around the right people. One of my mentors, Jim Rohn, that I follow religiously, he always speaks about that you are the average of the 7 people that you hang around. So number one reason why most people don't actually succeed in anything is because they're hanging around the wrong people. Yes, a pandemic has hit. Yes, there is absolutely nothing we can do about it. Yes, we have one of the shittest governments that I've ever come across, and there's nothing we can do to change that. So you literally have to go with what they're saying. So there isn't that much control, and I know it can be so frustrating when the element of control has been completely stripped away from you. So I would say it's really important to surround yourself with the right people. So calls like this, if I was part of this group, I wouldn't miss a single call. I wouldn't miss a single one. I would be in every single one. I would find more people like everyone on this group to connect with. So it doesn't have to be virtual calls like this. It could be people that you're texting, people that you're connected with on social media. So change your environment regarding people. This is the number one way we can start progressing in the right direction during a pandemic that we have no control over.
We're going to head to our break very quickly, and then we'll be taking questions from the interns.
Hi, my name is Saule, and I study A-level Psychology, Business and Economics at the Warren School in Jadwahi.
My name's Sarah Johnny, and I currently go New Vic.
My name's Zaina. I'm in year 11, and for the past few weeks I've been getting tutored by PZ Tuition.
I was not getting enough support during this pandemic. They offered help in all my A-level subjects for not only content, but coursework too.
During this pandemic, it's been really hard for my school to support me.
PZ Tuition has dramatically helped me to improve my exam structure, techniques, and provided me with a welcoming and safe atmosphere for me to learn.
PZ offers A-star quality tuition. I was working on a D for history, and from the very first session, I saw improvements in my work.
I've been getting both physical and virtual tuition.
The tutors are really helpful.
I would highly recommend anyone from anywhere in the country to get in touch.
Honestly, they really are
Revolutionizing tuition.
I have two questions for you from myself. I'm going to start off with something that's been in the news this week. And I believe I've seen a personal post of yours on your Instagram regarding it. And that is the issue of the protesting in India. So I've seen that a lot of people have sort of jumped onto the news now and realized the struggles that they're going through. And this all began because of a tweet that was put out at the beginning of the week by Rihanna. This may be controversial and a bit harsh from my point, but I believe that was a great business move by her. And the reason I feel that is because we all know she's been out of music for many years now, and she's been focusing on her brand. So, I mean, what do you think about that? Do you feel like she had good intentions, or do you believe it was just something purely business related?
I'm glad you brought that up, Jay, because it is a very, very sensitive topic right now in the world. I don't know if because I made an IGTV about it because my friends and I, we all pledged our birthdays to raise money for this cause. So it is a matter very close to our hearts. Now, this is the biggest protest in the history of mankind. The world has never seen anything like this before. So the fact that Rihanna tweeted it, whether it was political, whether it was a business move, whether it was genuine, I honestly don't know, but we need it. That's all I can say. And it has had exactly the reaction that we want. You must have seen how India has retaliated to that tweet. Yeah, stupidly enough, they think they're being smart, but what they're actually doing is bringing more publicity to the situation, which is exactly what we want. So overall, Jay, I'm very, very happy about what Rihanna did. I don't know what her intentions were, but I'm happy she did it. Same with Greta, and there was one more, I think the name of Mina, I think the niece of Kamala Harris, something like that. So overall, I'm happy about what they did.
Yeah, definitely. I do agree that the publicity there's nothing bad, that's nothing like bad publicity. So I guess her move was something that did help.
Yeah.
So the question she had for you was, what advice would you give younger girls who are hesitant to travel the world like you have?
Oh gosh, I get asked this question a lot. Oh, I'm trying to think of the most honest way of responding, and not sugarcoating. It's not easy. It is absolutely terrifying. The best way to get over any kind of fear is to just do it. I've got a slight upper hand because I've got a father who had done it himself. And I really believe that if my father hadn't, when he was 19 years old, just got up and left to travel the world, I don't think I would have done it, if I'm going to be very, very honest. So sometimes it takes one, you have to know one to do it yourself, I feel. So when people do ask me, what advice do you have? I would say at least make sure beforehand you've done all the preparations you need to do. So for example, have enough money saved. So you're not in a situation where you're stuck in a country and you can't even afford if you need to get back home, you can't even afford the flight. So make sure you have enough money saved. Start by doing smaller trips. You don't have to just go boom and travel the world and go city to city to city, country to country to country. I was doing small trips here and there. So I went to Spain and back alone. I went to Spain for a week alone. I went to the US and back. I know the USA is a bit far, but close by countries. Go to Germany, go to Italy, do smaller trips, do trips within the UK. Just start moving and traveling and doing things alone. Little things. I always give out tasks to people who ask this question. Go to a restaurant alone. Walk into a restaurant. When the waiter says to you, how many? You say, just myself. You sit alone. You order alone. You eat alone. However many course meal you want to have. Go to the cinema alone. So what it is, it's getting you used to your own company and getting you proud to be part of your own company. Most of us don't like to be alone. We find it embarrassing. I still remember the very first time I went into a restaurant alone. I was just humiliated. I just felt so awkward sitting there alone while everyone was in couples and sitting with their families, and I sat there at a table completely on my Larry eating. And I just felt so embarrassed, and I was overthinking it. Oh my gosh, what people must be thinking of me? They must think I'm just such a Larry loner. They might think I've just got no friends and no family. And I just overthought it so much to a point that the reality is no one was paying me any attention, right? No one is paying you the amount of attention you think that they are. So you start by doing the little things, and then it builds the confidence to go and do the bigger move, which is go travel the world, for example.
Okay. What advice would you give to ambitious Asian girls who struggle with traditional culture and the pressure they feel that comes with that?
This is a very, very tricky question. When you say pressure, could you elaborate a little bit more, Jay? Is it pressure from parents, siblings, or is it just the bigger society? Because who it comes from is crucial.
I think the best person to answer that would be the person that asked the question, which was Anika.
Hi Asra, I'll give myself as an example. So the sort of ideas that come from my parents and the pressures is also coming from the community as well. It's like a build up. So they would say and things like, oh, don't do this because people are going to say this or people are going to think like that. So it's a mixture of both, if you get what I mean.
Okay. I don't know how much I'm allowed to ask because I don't want to be too personal, but your relationship with your parents, it does play a huge part. So normally when I get asked this question, it's by people who don't actually have very, very strong relationships with their parents or with their siblings. So what I always say is first work on building the relationship stronger so you have a friendship there. When you have a friendship, then you're able to actually have a conversation, have an emotional conversation and connect on an emotional level and make the other party understand that this is how I feel and this is what I really want to do. Believe it or not, but 90% of the things that I do, my parents still don't agree. They don't like it. I do just go off and still do it anyway because it's gotten to that point in my life now that they've kind of accepted that I'm going to do what I want to do anyway, if that makes sense. I don't propose it, I don't recommend it because I know it can be detrimental to relationships. And this is why I do get quite awkward when I get asked questions regarding typical Asian mentality, traditional families and so forth, because the way I've handled it, I know it can be very detrimental if other people handle it the same way I did, because my mentality is screw it, just do it, literally. My parents will say, what will people say? Mine, screw it, just do it, I'll go do it anyway. If I get forbidden from doing something, my mentality is screw it, just do it. So I'm not proposing that. Please don't think I'm saying you do that as well. I'm just saying that's what I did. And I had to do that because it was the only way I could see myself progressing and getting a result. But if you don't want to do it that way, where you are just stubborn and cutthroat and it's I will do what I want to do, I would propose building strong relationships, because when the foundation is strong, then you're able to work on that. Then let's just say you wanted to go and take a weekend trip somewhere alone and your parents were against that. You're now in a position where you're able to have a conversation from a friendly perspective and build that trust and rapport to get them to sort of understand where you're coming from, what it is that you want to do in your life. I hope that helps. I know it's a very tricky situation.
Thank you.
Hi, my name's Zareen and I'm currently a second year dental student studying at King's College London, and I also am a tutor for PZ tuition. I chose dentistry as a course because I've always enjoyed the sciences, but I never really saw myself working in a lab. With dentistry, there's this massive people aspect and communicative aspect of the job and the degree, and after shadowing a dentist for a few weeks, I decided that I really enjoyed the problem solving that was involved in day-to-day practice, and that's what cemented my decision to pursue this course. My advice to any A-level students currently studying during the pandemic is just that despite the pandemic and despite the loss of routine, to remain as strict as possible as they can when it comes to going over content constantly, reiterating their understanding and doing as many exam papers as they possibly can. When the pandemic hit, I really saw students suffering because of the transition from in-person learning to entirely virtual learning, and I saw kids feel as though they were missing out and lose their confidence when it came to education and examinations. And I think that the tuition that's available at PZ Tuition has really helped kids regain that confidence when it comes to learning and sitting exams. I think that tutoring during the pandemic has been, really important because it's always helpful to consistently develop your skills. Despite the fact that I'm doing a full-time degree, the flexibility has allowed me to continue to develop as a tutor and help people throughout the pandemic.
Welcome back, guys. And we are going to go straight into the Would You Rather round with Asra Hussain and our director as well, Shakil. So, question 1. Would you rather explore space or the ocean?
Why would you ask me that?
You're trying
Oh gosh. Okay, I would choose space. No, I tell a lie, I wouldn't choose space. I would choose the ocean because I don't know how true this is, but apparently the place in this universe that we know the least about is under the sea. So we actually know more about space than we do under the ocean, apparently. I don't know how true that is.
Can you say neither?
You can't, you have to pick one of the binary options.
No, but go on, let's hear why he would say neither. I'm very intrigued.
I don't know, I've never really thought about it or really been interested in that. Like, there's a lot of things that pique my interest that I'd want to know, but space and ocean aren't really either like any of them. But if I was to pick one, I'd probably say, rationally thinking, I'd pick space, simply because I'm not going into water.
But then going into space isn't land either. That's probably even worse than the ocean.
But it's still not water though, technically, so I'll take my chances.
Okay, Shakil takes water, we get it.
And which is interesting because Asra has gone diving and scuba diving very recently as well, so you should check those videos out. Which actually brings me on to the next question. Would you rather lose your vision or lose your hearing?
My hearing. Oh, actually, wait, would I? Yeah, actually, I would, yeah.
Why?
Because I think I'm a very visual person in a lot of things that I do on a daily basis. It just helps me comprehend a lot of things since a young age. So I think vision is really important. And I also, touch wood, pride myself on the fact that I've had very good eyesight from a young age. Very used to that. So that, that's more important to me. Although I'm very conscious I'm giving up my ability to listen to music. So
it's interesting because you chose the word vision and not sight. So that's why you caught me off guard a bit. Thought, does he mean vision or does he actually mean sight?
I think he's supposed to sight.
Yeah, no, I gathered. I'm going to agree with Shakil. I would much rather lose hearing than sight. Same reasons, and just to add, it's a lot easier to fix ears than eyes, because with the ears, like, you can just put a hearing aid in, if I'm correct, something like that. There's things ways around it. Whereas fixing your sight is a lot trickier, riskier. So I'd go for hearing.
Awesome. And the final question. Would you rather be someone that is the most popular person at school or work, or the most smartest person at school or work?
If you asked me this a few years ago, I would have said smartest person. But when you look around, the most successful people aren't the smartest people. They're literally, they have a great ability to build relationships, basically meaning popularity. And it goes back to that very famous saying, it's not what you know, it's who you know. So I'm going to go for the most popular person, because if I'm the most popular person, I know the smart people, I know the nerdy people, I know the silly people, I know all the different types of people, and I've got relationships with all of them.
I'm going to go for a slightly different angle, and I'm going to say they're heavily intertwined. I feel like if you're smart, you'd also be able to kind of navigate your way and build those relationships that inevitably make you popular. And I'd say that that's very much highly applicable to my everyday job, because every time someone's name is put forward, the first thing someone will tell you, just as a natural thing, would be how good they are at what they do, like how smart they are in actually doing their job. But also they'll start telling you about who likes them, how popular they are, what people's perceptions of them are. So it's almost like I can't separate one from the other from personal experience.
And there you have it, guys. That was episode 2 of Speaking with Saif. Make sure you check out our YouTube channel and hit the subscribe button at www.youtube.com/generationpz. And if you haven't already seen the internship program, make sure you check us out and see what's in store for you.